It was January 3rd, 1924. George Gershwin was playing pool with a friend that evening at the Ambassador Billiard Parlor at Broadway and 52nd Street in Manhattan. George's brother, Ira, came in carrying an early edition of the following day's New York Tribune. In it, Ira said, the band leader Paul Whiteman had announced a concert in just 6 weeks' time. On this concert, the article stated, would be a new piece by George Gershwin.
6 weeks?
This was news, not only to Ira, but also to George himself. He had a phone call with Paul Whiteman the next morning and reminded Paul that, yes, Paul had asked him to write a concerto several months ago, but that George had declined, saying there simply wasn't time to do something so quickly and make the necessary revisions. That was several months back. Now, with less than 6 weeks to go, it was out of the question. And of course, why would Paul have announced something like this in a press release without George agreeing to compose something first? Well, Paul's explanation was that his musical nemesis, Vincent Lopez, was about to announce his own concert series of jazz-influenced music, and Paul felt that he didn't want to be scooped by his rival, so he just went ahead and announced the concert, and including Gershwin was the surest way to make sure that the press release was covered prominently in the papers. Finally, Gershwin agreed, hoping he could work on the piece on the train between New York and Boston, where he had a new musical in out-of-town previews. Gershwin claimed that he heard music in the heart of noise, and the sounds and rhythm of the train cars clickety-clacking down the rails inspired parts of the score. He said he imagined this piece as a musical kaleidoscope of America, of our vast melting pot, our unduplicated national pep, and our metropolitan madness. Gershwin had planned to call the piece American Rhapsody, but his brother Ira suggested Rhapsody in Blue after visiting an art gallery where some of the artists had included various colors in the titles of their paintings. The work was premiered on the afternoon of February 12th, the concert billed as an experiment in modern music. With Gershwin's name attached, many of the most important musicians of the day were there. John Philip Sousa, Victor Herbert, Walter Damrosch, Fritz Kreisler, Igor Stravinsky, and a host of others. The concert was long, 4 hours by some reports, and Gershwin's piece was almost at the very end. The heating wasn't working properly in the building, and it was a cold and snowy day in New York. People had begun to leave before Gershwin even took the stage. When Gershwin's new Rhapsody began, however, the audience was treated to something none of them were expecting. A low clarinet trill and glissando that would become forever associated with the composer and well known throughout the world. Gershwin improvised large sections of his solo piano passages, which he would later write down, but the effect on the audience was unmistakable. Tumultuous applause for the Rhapsody, and the audience went away proclaiming the concert was a complete knockout, which is a bit strange since no other music from this experiment has lived on in any comparable way. But that night, the history of American music changed. Gershwin's music, rough and raw as it might have been, pointed the way toward a possible merging of classical with more popular idioms, what many had said couldn't be done. Although not all music critics appreciated it at the time, the New York Times review said of Gershwin's Rhapsody, the composition shows extraordinary talent. He has expressed himself in a significant and highly original form. His first theme is an idea, or several ideas, correlated and combined in varying and contrasting rhythms that immediately intrigue the listener. The audience was stirred, and many a hardened concertgoer excited with the sensation of a new talent finding its voice. We're proud to present this first ever recording of the reconstructed original version that's as close as possible to what the audience heard that cold February day in 1924. Special thanks to Jeffrey Biegel, the Gershwin Initiative at the University of Michigan, and the Arts Research Institute at the University of California, Santa Cruz for helping to make this recording happen.